Excuse me. Hello, hello, who's here? Let's just do a roll call. If you are here and you're watching live, I want to make sure that this is working well. So just let me know if you can hear me. Okay, great. I see you. You can hear me. Great. Perfect. Welcome. Let me close out some of these tabs. We have a 3 more minutes before we get started at the top of the hour. So if you are here, I would love to know who you are and where you are tuning in from. So like we do in the prayer call, if you're in the U.S., let me know what state you're in. If you're out of the U.S., let me know what country you're in. And yeah. And even before we get started, thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. I want to encourage you to invite just 2 women that you know, because I feel like tonight is definitely going to be something great. It is definitely anointed. Juanita from South Carolina, Texas, North Carolina, two North Carolinas in California. Welcome. Delaware, the Keto Goddess. Tayo from Atlanta, Arkansas. Welcome. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Suwanee, Georgia. I don't know about y'all, but I just turned on the AC and it's hot. It is hot in St. Louis, boy. It's a beautiful day though. I'm not complaining. I am grateful. Hi, Leela from London. Or is it Layla? Leela. Seti from London. Hi and welcome. EZ. I'm curious, EZ. I see you said you're a single golly brother from Suwanee, Georgia. Tell me, I typically work with women, so I'm curious about what are you hoping to get? Like, why are you joining? I'm just curious. All right. So I'm just waiting for people to come on in. We have a minute or 2 left. That's what I'm doing. So, I would love to hear from you. Just tell me, put in the comments, how are you feeling? How are you feeling with what's happening in the world right now? Are you feeling really anxious? Are you feeling pretty calm and cool? Like, has your world been turned upside down, or have things been just pretty mellow? And besides working from home, I would love to hear how things are happening and going in your world. Just really need to gain feminine allure. I see that. Okay, so there's a brother here who says, I want to be available and where women are to meet my soulmate. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so, yep, I see Tyra Ware. I'm originally from Detroit, but I do live in St. Louis. I've been here for 10 years now. I can't even believe that. It's been 10 years, over 10 years. I moved here in 2009 for law school, and I met my husband, and he persuaded me to stay. Okay, so just during this pandemic, I'm hearing that it's a nice break from adulthood. Ladies, you want to tap into your creativity. Enjoying the time to reset. Yes, because that's what tonight is really going to be all about. Feeling energized and excited about the opportunities ahead. Okay, good. So I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving what I'm hearing. So it's already 6:01. Let's go ahead and get started. So before we even do get started, let me just share a couple quick church announcements. I want to share with you that this week and beyond, until either I give birth or I get the nudge to move forward, at least for the next couple of weeks, Monday through Thursday, I'm going to be here live on YouTube. So Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, so that's 10 a.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a YouTube live stream and just really share my thoughts about what's necessary to step into your alluring womanhood right now. What's necessary to step into a high level of influence so that you're not squandering this time, right? And what is it going to take for you to really turn a bad situation into a good one and really, really maximize this time? Because when we return to a sense of normalcy, things are going to be different. Things are going to be different. And you want to come out, like Beyonce says, you want to come out hotter this year. You want to come out not being the same person, not worse off, but really taking it to a high level. So meet me here tomorrow at noon, Monday through Thursday. If you are, I used to do the Alluring Womanhood and Femininity show. I don't know if I want to call it that right now, but definitely going to be showing up live. And so I want you to join. I want you to share this live tonight with just two women that you know, because you know what I say, when you share, you add value. Yeah, femininity is important in times like this. So ladies, let me just get into it. Let's just cut straight to the chase. So a couple of weeks ago, I sent an email to my database and I asked a question. I said, well, hey, what can I teach you right now to help you feel really alluring? What can I do right now to help you feel really alluring? And I got some different kind of feedback. Some women just said, I want to focus on what I'm focusing on. I really want to spend time in the Holy Spirit, being closer to God. And other women said things like, I want to look more approachable. I want to have a je ne sais quoi that is unmatched. I want to walk in confidence. I want to have my boundaries and, own my sexiness, own my femininity. And I will say that now is definitely the time for that. Because here's what's happening. I feel like the pandemic, the current circumstances that we are feeling right now hasn't really changed much in terms of our frame of mind. It's really intensified it. It's made us more of who we actually were and who we actually are. And it's really accelerated and really catapulted us on the trajectory that we were already on. So like my colleague said, if you are optimistic, you see great opportunity in this. If you are a skeptic, you have a lot of good reasons to stay where you are and be scared right now. If you are spiritual, you're finding more ways to really come forth and share your light with the world. If you are, if you're skeptic, then everything is a conspiracy theory. I know that, my family has been sending me different type of videos and I'm just focusing on what's true. My mind is fixed on what is true, what is lovely, the best and not the worst, things to bless and not things to curse. And because of that, I do have peace. So I'm saying this though, because what I've noticed and what I'm hearing is that if you were lonely before, that loneliness has really intensified. And even more than the loneliness, specifically the sexual urges have intensified. The desire for intimacy has intensified, where you just want to hug. You just want to be held in this moment. And if you don't have that, then these moments can be really, really tough. It can be tough and it can be tough because you're confronted with reality and you're confronted with the truth of how you've been showing up and the truth of your own situation. And if you're not honest with yourself, if you don't use this time to really be honest with yourself, then you're going to come out on the losing end. You're going to come out remaining stuck or remaining in your own way, still feeling guarded, still being lonely, even though your life is full. Still feeling some kind of way if you see, people getting engaged or married or whatever it is. And so this is the time where you can do the work behind the scenes so that you don't have to be bashful around men, right? And when you're really trying to connect. And I wrote down some things here of what my audience has shared with me. And so I'm hearing that, you want to be more assertive. You want to stand your ground. Many of you are still talking to your exes right now. And that's costing you. It's costing you opportunity. It's keeping you stuck, and it's really creating pain. And so really the gist of this is that there's a lot of belief that is lost if you are not maximizing this time right now. And so, I feel like I'm in this moment where I feel like I could read something or talk to a woman on the phone and understand whether she's going to push past any sort of resistance and get to the other side, meaning that she's going to be able to accomplish her vision and feel like have this deserving sense of accomplishment, or she's not. And because of this, I'm really reminded of the story of Queen Esther of Persia. Excuse me, just one. I'm reminded of Queen Esther of Persia, who, and if you're not familiar with her, essentially, let me see if I can share the quick summary, real like synopsis, like Cliff Notes version. But really, King Xerxes had given a feast for all of his officials. And there was Queen Vashti, who refused to come. He wanted his officials to really be able to gaze at her beauty. And so because she refused to come, he had her deposed, and his advisors instructed him, or really advised him, to get a new queen. And so this is where Esther comes in. Esther is this young, Jewish woman who was raised by her family member Mordecai. And she was taken into, because of her beauty and her youth, she was taken into the queen's harem. And she was chosen as queen because the king was very pleased with her. And so at this same time, one of the King Xerxes' officials, Haman, was promoted. And because Esther and her uncle Mordecai were not, they were exiles in that land. They were Israelites and they were God's chosen people. They were not to bow to Haman. And because of this, Haman was really disappointed and frustrated and felt disrespected. So he sent out a decree to really kill all the Jews. It was in this moment that Mordecai asked I'm assuming she's a niece or maybe a distant cousin, but he asked Esther to be able to plead on behalf of her people, to plead to the king. And she said, it's unusual. You do know that the law states, and I'm paraphrasing, you do know the law states that if you go to the king uninvited, you're basically doomed unless he holds out his golden scepter. Essentially, I want to share with you how Esther used her feminine allure to win favor with the king, because she was made for such a time as this. And so that's what I want to share with you tonight, is that you were born for such a time as this. You are from a chosen generation. You could have been born like 200 years ago. You could be born like next year. But whatever time it is right now, it's 2020 and you are here. And so it's time to step back into more of who you are. It's time to restore that purpose, that destiny, so that every element of your life is in cooperation for what God has for you. So that when we do return to a sense of normalcy, you can hit the ground running. So I want to share with you, I want to kind of go through the steps, because when I was going through this, I was like, this is so important that women, and that we know who we are. Every woman is encoded with a gift. The Bible says that God knew you. He formed you in the womb, like he knew you in your mother's womb. And the beautiful thing, you've heard me say this before, the beautiful thing is that everything in the world was fashioned or created by the word of God. But we humans were created by the breath and really fashioned by the hand of God. So that means that we were made in his image. Now, sorry, I got distracted there. So I want to share with you how Esther won the favor of King Xerxes in this time where she was totally afraid, in a time where her people were doomed to be destroyed because there was a decree that could not be reversed because it had the king's, I think it's called signet. It was sealed with the king's ring, so it could not be reversed. And here she is, this like woman in a foreign land, And this was her time to really step up into her alluring queen, her influence type, which I'm going to share with you later on. So, and before I do go forward, I do want you to know that I am going to share an opportunity with you to work with me. Right, this is a new program. I'm really excited about it, and I just want you to know uphand, like, we're stepping into a new level, right? A different type of level of allure, so that ultimately we can really bring the fun back, because that is what's necessary in this moment. So, I'm saying all this to say that now is the time to really step into, like, regaining that sense of confidence, restoring the fun, tapping into your beauty, because that's what Esther did. So here's what Esther did. Let me go to it. Let me just get into it. So number one, I want to share with you how Esther stepped into the Feminine Allure formula. The Feminine Allure formula is really my 6-step signature process that helps you to apply feminine allure in everything, in your love, in terms of love, as well in terms of life. So step one is to know what you want. Let me see if you can see me. Step one is that you have to know what you want. And so for Esther, her clarity was clear. She had to plead, the request was to plead with the king to be able to save her people. Because if she didn't start there, I mean, my goodness, what would have happened? Right? So that's pretty easy, because if you don't know what you want, essentially we end up with a lot of confusion. We end up with a lot of doubt. We end up really in the same endless cycle of nothingness. When it comes to dating, it's what I call the basic woman dating cycle. And it shows up in so many ways. So number two, Esther had to conquer her inner game. This is step 2 in the Feminine Allure formula. Esther had to conquer her inner game. And do you know how she did that? Remember, so she knew that she had to plead with the king. And this is what Mordecai requested of her. And she was afraid, because she said, if I do this, I am doomed. But it was Mordecai who said, well, listen, you have been elevated for such a time as this. So she said, you know what? I'm going to hold a fast. And I want you to do the same. In my inner court, we're going to hold a fast for 3 days. And then she came out. She said, I will go to the king against the law. And if I die, I die. I am speechless when I hear that, when I read that in the Bible. I am speechless, because when I think about what it really takes to have the right mindset to achieve what it is that you want, once you know what it is, and without taking yourself out the game, without being afraid to have the success, without being afraid to say, what's going to happen when I really get this thing? What's going to happen when I have an amazing love life? What's going to happen when I have an amazing business? What's going to happen when I lose this weight? Am I going to lose friends? Am I going to, can I keep, all the good that can come up in a woman's head? And this is why conquering the inner game is vital. It is so vital to your success. And now is the time for you to be working on this, conquering the inner game. But guess what? It's not something that you can do alone. All right. Step 3. Esther had to have fun with the process. That's step 3 in the Feminine Allure formula. Step 3 is just to really have fun. Now, here's the kicker, and I love reading this when I read it. Esther underwent 12 months of beauty treatment before she was even presented before the king, right? I believe that was a time of fun. It was a time of really exploring herself. It was a time of stepping into a new identity, a new way of being. This is important, ladies, because guess what? How you see yourself. This is what I call the cycle of beauty. How you see yourself drives behavior. Identity drives behavior. And for many of us, in order to get back into this cycle of fun, to get out of our heads, to get out of the loneliness, to get out of the frustration, we have to bring the fun back. We have to show up in ways that are enjoyable and feel really pleasurable to us. So not only did she undergo 12 months of beauty treatments, right, before she was even presented before the king, but when it was her night, right, her eunuch had, given her the choice of all the beautiful clothes and the beautiful jewelry, all the things to really enhance her beauty and really set the atmosphere. Ladies, you have to create an environment that is conducive to the outcome that you want. And my question to you tonight is, are you using this time to create the environment that is going to produce a favorable outcome? You have to be intentional. How are you maximizing this time? This is what it's going to take by following these steps that I'm laying out for you, this is what it's going to take to turn a bad situation into a good one. Because you might be feeling resentful right now. If I'm being really honest, like this is not just about the steps 1, 2, 3. This is about building a better you. This is about establishing and doing the work to create the most polished, the most alluring, the most confident, the most enchanting you. So if you're down for that, keep watching. So step 4, the Feminine Allure formula. She was bold about what she wanted. She was bold about what she wanted. So not only did she set the atmosphere, right? After she fasted and she decided that my game is clear, like I am going to do this. I had the intention. She was focused on what she wanted. And now was the time to really make her request known to the king. And when she came before the king, he said, "What is it, queen? Whatever you want, I'll give it to you, plus half of the kingdom." This is the power of the alluring woman. This is the power when you step into your queenhood. The thing I love about this is that she asked for what she wanted. She was bold about it. But she also practiced patient endurance. Because can you imagine, you have this big calling on your heart, like you want to plead for your people. And sometimes for women like us, we just want to get it out. We can't hold anything, right? And so a part of your allure is being able to hold something, to have a sense of warmth about you, but also having a sense of mystique. You can't just lay it all on the table. And so the way that Esther did this was that she prepared a banquet for the king and for Haman, right? 2 banquets actually. And then it was at this banquet that she requested of him. She was like, "If it please the king, my request is that my life and the life of my people be spared." And not only that in terms of being bold about what she wanted to the people who mattered, the king, she used the Feminine Allure formula to establish a new decree so that her people could fight back. This is important. This is important. I say this because sometimes we women can go into like sob stories, right? Like we love a good, how can I say this? We're so into like upgrading it. This is where Beyonce messed us up. Like upgrading you, fixing a man up, upgrading him, all that kind of stuff. It becomes what I call social work love. And it doesn't work for women like us in our favor. Women who desire this masculine man, women who desire to feel cherished, women who want an energy that is equal and yet opposite of our own. Like energy where we feel protected, energy that we respect enough to yield to. And so I say this because, sometimes we go soft. We go like, "Oh, of course I want to help you." And then we go into resentment and we just feel like we're helpful, but we're not vulnerable. And because of that, we don't know how to really create that emotion that men really want to feel. Because men do want to feel something from you. This is part of your sacred influence where God is using the hearts of women and God is using the hearts of wives to be able to touch the man in their life. God desires to be made known. And he wants to be made known through you. This is a part of your sacred influence. Esther didn't back down. So essentially what happened, Esther, the people, like her people were able to, not only were her people, it was a decree that, the Jewish people were going to be destroyed, but she established a decree that they could fight back. So they fought back in different parts of the land. And it wasn't like, "Oh, thousands of people are going to die. I'm so," she didn't go soft. She was like, "Okay, can we get this in the land of Susa? Can we do it again here? We're going to have Haman and his family hanged in the gallows." And I don't mean to make this morbid, but what I'm saying is when a woman stands in her power, she gets results. I'm really excited about step 5. This is what I call discover your influence style. So step 5 in the Feminine Allure formula is to discover your influence style. There are different levels and different types of ways that we influence men and that we influence the world. Queen Esther stepped into the highest level, the alluring queen. She practiced patient endurance. She looked the part. She created an atmosphere. She made her request known clearly. She didn't go into hinting or hoping about what she wanted. She used powerful and feminine communication. She didn't play the victim. She didn't play the martyr. She didn't go into sexual prowess. She wasn't the princess. She was the alluring queen. And it was in that way that she showed up that the king was like, whatever you want, dear, I give it to you plus the kingdom. Just let me know. I got you. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The question is, are you ready to receive the kingdom with pleasure? Are you ready to do your part, to step into your next level, to discover your influence style, to see how you're showing up? And the last step that Esther applied in terms of the feminine allure formula is to move powerfully. She moved powerfully. She didn't shy away from the fight. She didn't fall for the sob story, right? Instead, she said, listen, thank you. And if it please the king again, this is what I would like to happen. Let's have the people in this land also fight for themselves. And then she put her full authority as queen to establish a festival of Purim, I believe. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me if I'm butchering it. But she established a festival. She didn't go into disqualifying herself to say, oh no, I'm just a woman and my name shouldn't be put on it. You go ahead. Although she and Mordecai established this festival, it was her full authority. She didn't say, oh no, I'm going to have to yield to the king because I'm just a meager old woman, merely a woman. She put her authority in and she moved powerfully. There was no imposter syndrome. There was no people are going to find out who I am. She stepped into who she was and she made it happen. And it was recorded. It was recorded in the books. It was recorded in history. Listen, the written word is more established than the spoken word. And so this is why this is really important that women, like now is the time for you to step into the feminine allure formula. Now is the time for you to step into your sacred influence because God wants to be made known and he wants to be made known through you. Now, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to focus on your beauty. And I know that beauty may seem like something that is so shallow and it's like so vain and you really don't want to step into it because you may not even feel like the prettiest woman. But the truth is that beauty is spiritual in nature. Yeah, beauty is spiritual in nature because, as I mentioned before, when God created humans, he made us with his breath, not his word. He made us with his hands. And so I just get so, it's like the unction of the Holy Spirit just overcomes me. And I'm like, oh, we're so magical, people. You are made of magic. You are made of magic. And so your beauty is a tool. It is the intent behind it. Just like a knife could be, a weapon in one hand, or it could be a tool for operation in another to save someone's life. Your beauty is a tool. And when I'm saying beauty, listen, girl, you ain't got to be the prettiest woman. But you do have to step into your allure. You do have to own your beauty as a sacred tool. You do have to own it as something that is spiritual. Because in the Bible, who is man that thou art mindful of him in the Psalms, and that God made us just below the angels, and that he crowned us with glory and honor. If you deny your beauty, or you act like, oh, I'm too deep for this, or oh, if you deny beauty, you are denying God. Yes. If you deny your beauty, you're denying God because you are made in God's image and likeness. How dare you? Hey, how dare you? No, we cannot. Now is the time to fully step in. So the thing is that I wrote this down in 1 Peter. It says that beauty, it's time to get back into the beauty, both internal and external, right? It's time to think about this in terms of your lifestyle optimization and really having an arsenal of tools that can really support and help you along the way. Because in 1 Peter, he says, beauty, not merely outward beauty, but the hidden person of the heart that sort of incorruptible beauty. Ooh, I love words. That incorruptible beauty that is quiet and gentle. And this is not like lay down and stay down. This is not like, oh, I'm just a nobody. You can go ahead and slap me all over the place because I'm a Christian. This ain't that. This is about the quietness where a woman is, all those thoughts, all those corruptible thoughts that come into your head, right? That want to hold you captive. When you own your beauty and know that it is spiritual in nature, you're able to hold those thoughts in captivity. You're able to bring those thoughts into the obedience of Christ. And this is what God is requiring of women in this hour. This is what I really believe. This is what God is requiring of you. Because you have to be able to influence. I believe that women influence men way more than they can ever influence us. And men are conditioned to obey women, beginning with their mothers. So I want to review the step. I want to review the steps real quick. You can put it in the chat box for anyone else who is just tuning in right now. But Esther, Queen Esther of Persia, applied the feminine allure formula. She knew what she wanted. She pleaded with the king to save her people. You have to know what you want to get what you want. Period. Number 2, she conquered the inner game. She fasted for 3 days and she said, okay, hold a fast. And I will go to the king against the law. And if I die, I die. Listen, you're talking about strong mindset. Okay? You can apply this to your love life, and this can be applied to anything, and using your feminine allure to get what you want. Number 3, she had fun with the process. I believe, she had her beauty treatment. She had like her royal robe. She had the jewelry. She had everything to really enhance it. And she set the atmosphere. She was bold. Step number 4 is that she was bold about what she wanted to the people who mattered. She prepared the banquet. She practiced patient endurance. And then she made the request that the decree be reversed. And it couldn't be reversed because it was final. But the king decreed that her people could fight to save themselves. Esther operated at the highest level of influence. She was the alluring queen, practiced that patient endurance. She wasn't playing the victim, not the sexual prowess, not the pretty princess, not like the martyr and the victim, not the manipulator, but the highest queen. Okay? And then she moved powerfully. The final step is that she moved powerfully. She did it again. She put her full authority to establish this Jewish festival of Purim. Okay? She did not disqualify herself. Because the thing is that can you imagine being like this, kind of being like this slave girl to stepping into the royal courts? Can you imagine the stuff that would come up in a person's mind? Like if you even got a raise, I talked about this on the last live, to go from $50,000 to let's say 80 or 102,000, there's some stuff that's going to come up in your mind. You're going to be like, whew, they're going to find out I'm a fraud. They're going to find out I'm an imposter, that I don't really know what I'm doing. And in terms of love, sure, maybe you attract men, but if you don't keep them, if you don't take it to the next level, and if you don't have the skills to do that, right, then you go into self-sabotage. Start playing all these games to try to test men to see if they're really going to stay around, to see if you're really worth it. Because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you have what it takes to be loved for the long term. And so you just push it away. But now ain't the time to go into that. So listen, ladies, here's my call to you. My call to you right now is to return to your vibrant, confident self. Return to your vibrant, confident self. This is what I want to do. We're going to focus on the fun. We are going to focus on the fun here. And I'm saying this because I want to extend an invitation to you. So there are 2 ways to work with me. Number 1 is what you already know. It's the Feminine Allure Academy. It is my 12-month elite program for ambitious women who really want to attract their Mr. Right and more. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. That program is 12 months, just like Esther had undergone the 12 months of beauty treatments, where we go through the entire 6-step process, right? But hold on. Allergies. I want to sneeze. Ooh, okay. So, and stay with me. the time commitment or the financial commitment may not be something that you can do right now. Okay? So instead, I want to invite you to participate in the Sacred Beauty Circle. The Sacred Beauty Circle is my new program where we're focusing on what Esther did. We're focusing on the fun. We are restoring that childlike spirit. We are restoring and really delving into the alluring woman with sacred beauty training and really starting with the basics. Okay? I want to go here. This is important. This is important. I think it's especially important for women of faith, right? Because we don't often feel disenchanted. This is a time where you get to slow down. And especially for Black women, we feel like we have to be on 10 or 1,000, 100% of the time. And if we're not, we feel inadequate, not useful. We just don't really allow ourselves time to just really dream, if I'm being honest with you. So this is your time to maximize this moment, right? We're going to go over some external and internal beauty regimens and rituals, but more so, we're going to step into that beauty that's really within the heart. Because guess what? Your heart is your spirit's strongest magnet. And this is what it takes to really be able to create that bond. Because sex isn't the thing that bonds a man to a woman. Right? It's part of it. You have sexual connection, like the sexual attraction, but you also have the emotional attraction. So we want to bring this back into a balance. We want to be able to focus on the fun. And so I want to share with you the Sacred Beauty Circle is a 30-day training program for women of faith who really want to radiate feminine confidence and keep themselves in the game. You can find more information if you go to, don't go there now, but you can find more information if you go to the description box below this here video. But here's why I believe that you need it. You know, like I said, like what has happened has only intensified the trajectory that you were already on. So if you're fine with that, I'm not sure why you're watching this video. If you're fine with that, then okay, that's good. But I sense that maybe you're not really fine with that you really want more for your life. Let me tell you something. If your health is in check, if your health is in order, like this is where you get to prioritize. This is where you have to know what you want and what's really important. Because if your health is not in check, you really want to make sure that it is. If your health is in check, if your money is in check, right? But if you are experiencing high levels of loneliness right now, then this is for you. You really want to be able to focus on your love life. You really want to focus on the confidence within so that when this thing lifts, that you can hit the ground running. That you have alluring woman practices that you can go to help you feel grounded, to help you feel at ease, to restore the confidence that you had when you were younger, so that you feel noticed and that you feel alive, so that you can walk away with real tools for change. Okay? So here's what we're going to cover. I'm really excited about this. I think this might even be my best body of work, but here's what we're going to cover. So week 1 is a 4-week, it's a 30-day program. It's really affordable and it's, there's not much of a time commitment. So week 1, we're going to tap into the art of allure. We're going to talk about how to use your beauty, understand your beauty as a tool for like for a weapon, or as a tool of magic as a wand. You're going to understand the basics of sacred beauty training and really why every woman needs it and why women of faith particularly lack allure and why we're disenchanted. Week number 2, you're going to discover your sacred beauty marks. You are going to discover what God wants you to know about his royal artistry sketch within you. Every woman has like a sacred blueprint. And through this, I'm going to share with you how you can decode the gifts of God to reveal your true beauty and use the power of color and style to update yourself. Okay, that's really important. I think that's even worth this entire program, this entire course. Week 3, we're going to recalibrate your behavior so that you can ultimately increase your status. I'm going to teach you how to use your mind to master your femininity and also create emotional fuel so that you can maintain the right energy in the right moments. This is helping you to be able to tap into the success mindset so that you can keep yourself in the game. Now is not the time for slackness. God is not a God of slack. Now is the time to be going braless and all that stuff. It's time to keep yourself in the game. And finally, week 4, I'm going to teach you, you're going to discover your influence style. We're going to go beyond beauty, okay, to learn the timeless secrets of what makes women cherished and adored and revered and even envied and feared. You're going to identify which influence style you primarily use, and also think about and decide which influence style you want to use going forward so that you are influencing men in the appropriate way to get what you want. You are influencing the world. Okay? So this program is actually going to start next Tuesday, April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be live calls with me. These are live workshops, live trainings with me. There's going to be a private mirror, like all this information you can see. And I should probably post it right here in this. I'm going to post it in the chat. It's called the Sacred Beauty Circle. Okay. So I want to invite you. I want to invite you to participate. I want to invite you to enroll. I want to invite you to join. Now is the time for you to focus on what it's going to take for you to remain in the game. Now is the time for you to use your sacred beauty to influence the world, to feel good about yourself, to have a je ne sais quoi that is unmatched. How about that? So that ultimately you can walk in confidence. Because that's essentially what Queen Esther had done. She followed the system. She followed the feminine allure formula. I mean, unknowingly she did, but this is what it is. It can be applied, like you can use it for anything. You can use it for anything to get what you want. And hopefully I've proven that to you this evening. Let me see if I can take any questions right now. Let me just kind of go through this. Superior says, I feel warm as you mentioned this program. Well, that's a sign. Yeah. Go ahead and check it out. Check it out and see if it appeals to you. And if it does, don't wait. Be a decisive action taker. If the thought of doing this, if it feels good to you in your body, trust that feeling, ladies, because the body is a source of information. I'm just looking to see if really quick, any quick questions or anything like that. Okay, yeah. Again, so you can go to feminineallure.co/beauty-circle. feminineallure.co/beauty-circle. The Sacred Beauty Circle. It's my new training. 30 days to build the like most beautiful you with me, with an intimate group of women who want this, who understand that they must become someone different to create their dreams. Okay? So this is for the woman who is committed. This is for the woman who is ready now. And it's a small investment. So if you want all the information, go ahead and click on the link below, or click on the link here or in the description box, and you can see it there. Okay? So let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to leave you with before I roll out. Yeah. So the last thing I guess I want to say is that there's two sides to every coin, right? There's massive fear, but there's also massive opportunities. A lot of women are taking this time for massive growth. And you're here for a purpose. You are a part of a chosen generation. You have a gift within inside of you. But guess what? That gift will not come out if you're afraid to if you're afraid to be seen. How about that? If you're like this, I want it, I don't want it, then this program is for you. This is an opportunity for you to really be seen so you can step into the next level of you, whether that's love, whether that is your career, a business that you have. But you have to feel good on the inside. You have to feel like a confident woman who is totally empowered, who believes in herself. And one of the ways to do that is to go back to the basics. We're going to have fun like Esther. We're going to focus on the fun. so that you're showing up in ways that are enjoyable. We're taking the pressure off. We're bringing the fun back. You're showing up as that childlike spirit, and I would love to support you in that, okay? So this is a time to take the rapid progress to move forward, and you can do that with me in the Sacred Beauty Circle. So we're going to start next week. It's going to be only open, like enrollment is open for 1 week. We're going to start next Tuesday, and I hope that you will join me, okay? Go to feminineallure.co/beauty-circle. Okay, so I hope that this information served you tonight. And I'll catch you, or catch me tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to be doing another live. Okay, so catch me then. Share this information with just 2 women that you know, because as always, when you share, you add value. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, so that way you can be aware and alert of when I go live. Because I saw someone put here like, oh, I finally caught a live. All right. So I will see you ladies, hopefully in the program. And if not, I'll see you here tomorrow. Okay. So have a good night. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.